Okay, this next topic I'd like to talk about is if we look at, okay, leadership is about people, influence, and goals. And if we look at influence, again, I said that's kind of the key word for me. And so what is influence? And if we look at the research, influence is directly tied to power. And if we go back and look at what power is the ability to get something done. Even one of the official definitions is the ability to push or move forward or progress or grow despite resistance. And so as I look at power, right, we can get into what we call French and Raven's 5 types of power. And there's a number of different taxonomies out there on power. But I like this because when I look at leadership, everything kind of falls into the way that I influence or get somebody to do something when they don't want to do it falls into these 5 types of power. So think about this with me for just a second. Okay, is there a time in your life when you have done something that you didn't want to do that doesn't fall into one of these 5 categories? Okay, so for example, maybe it was, did I go to work today? Well, a lot of us maybe don't want to go to work, but we go to work, right? We'd rather stay home, play with our kids, play with our families, right? Go golfing, whatever it is that your hobbies are. I'd rather do those most days than go to school, especially when I was a student in college. So, but we go to college. Why do we go? Well, one, for a reward or benefit, right? So we call that a reward, right? So that's the first type of power. We can get somebody to do something because we give them a reward. So come to school, you'll get an A, right? Or you'll get $100,000. In fact, I tell people, if someone would pay me $500,000 a year, I will work 5 days a week, every week of the year, and I will go door to door with my toothbrush and clean out the toothbrush that I brush my teeth with that night and clean out people's bathrooms, right? And the reason I will do that is because $500,000 is a lot of money. I may not want to do that, but I'll do it for the reward, right? So the second type is fear, right? If a student comes up to me or a boss comes up to me and says, Chad, you do this, or I'm going to beat you over the head with this baseball bat, we call that coercion or coercive power. I do it out of fear. The second we call referent power. And referent has to do with family or friends. And the best way that I think about this is peer pressure in high school, right? How many of us did stupid things in high school because our friends asked us to, right? We didn't really want to do it, but we did it anyway. The fourth type is what we call knowledge power, right? And it's based on the fact that, in fact, if we look at major scandals, financial statement frauds like Enron, there was something like over 20 lower-level accountants that participated and helped perpetrate that huge financial scam. And why did they do it? Because, quote unquote, the CFO told me to do it, and he knows more than I do about this. Or Arthur Andersen signed off on it, and they know more about these accounting procedures than I do. And so we can see how knowledge power plays into that. So we've got referent power, we've got reward power, we've got coercion, we've got knowledge. The fifth type of power, right, is legitimate power. And we'll see that this is talking about the legitimate right that a boss or a parent or a teacher or whatever that line of authority is, the legitimate right that they have to direct the organization or to tell somebody to do something that they need to do. In fact, when you look at kind of from across cultures, right, and we talked about this a little bit in the topic on international management and international business, but you can see that in certain Asian cultures, this is very important, right? When the boss tells you to do something, you do it. We don't have that culture as much here in the United States, but there still is some of that. And so you can see that through these 5 types of powers, people are able to direct or influence others to reach whatever they're trying to get them to reach. Hopefully, they're using power in a positive way to help them reach the organization's goals. But as you're dealing with employees, as you're dealing with colleagues, as you're dealing with peers, notice and make sure that we're using these types of power in a positive way, and some of them are much more effective than other ways. And all of these powers, notice they're all external, right? They're external stimulus, and all the research has come back to say that if we can get someone to internally enjoy the job, then they're going to be much more productive. In fact, research has come back and said that external stimuli, like these 5 types of power, can get someone to be productive over the short term, but when it's the long-term change we're trying to produce, it has to come from internal because someone enjoys what they're doing. And so we need to match people up with work they love.